with regard to this, did you make any determination as far as Tylee Ryan's whereabouts?
So we were trying to prepare a timeline of her activities, and that was coming in from many different sources in the investigation. Some of her financial activities, her use of digital media, anyone that might have seen her or been in communication with her, and so forth. So we were trying to narrow that down as best we could. That photograph in Yellowstone National Park was very important for us because it was the last known location for her. After I completed this review on that particular day, it was my conclusion that it really had only really made one stop from the time that photo appeared to have been taken, and that was in West Yellowstone, Montana, in a public area. So my best conclusion as of the last known location for Tylee Ryan was at 565 Pioneer Road, number 175, and that would have been at 2037 that evening.
And then on this same slide, there's some indication of data points on Monday, September 9th. Can you tell us what we're seeing there?
Yes. The device I was reviewing for Alex Cox, in the month of September, beginning on September 5th, it would typically go to 107 at night. When I say at night, I mean roughly from about midnight to 6 a.m. It was almost always during those hours within 107 when I had sufficient data to indicate that. On this particular night, and this was the only time I observed that, at least in the month of September, we received some data points of the device in 175 in the early hours of that morning, and we just had 3 data points during that time. Now it was really common that when the device was moving, I observed regular updates of its location, sometimes one or more a minute, or at least every few minutes. That was pretty typical to get an update. It seemed like when the device stopped somewhere, the updates became less frequent, particularly at night. Sometimes it would be an hour or more between a data point. And so during that time, there are just 3 precise data points, and they are at 2:42, and then a second one at 2:42, and then another one at 3:37. All 3 of these were GPS data points with a 4-meter radius, and they seem to put the device in Unit 175.
Can you talk to us about what we're seeing depicted on this slide?
So this is a continuation of the summary of what was happening on Monday, September 9th in the morning. So we had just looked at those data points in the early morning hours, and the final ones were in Unit 107. So beginning at almost approximately at 9 o'clock, it seems to leave 565 Pioneer Road, number 107, and moves at driving speed north to US. It gets on US 20, and it continues towards an address of 202 North, 1900 East in Rexburg, Idaho. That address is a little under 8 miles north of the 565 Pioneer Road address. It arrives there approximately at 9:15. Now, there's a series of data points showing that movement, kind of like breadcrumbs. And I believe the final data point at 9:15 is just maybe 100 yards south of the address. So it appears to be arriving at approximately that time.
And did you determine who that address is associated with?
Yes, the 202 North, 1900 East in Rexburg was the residence of Chad Daybell at that time. Only that we had some precise data that seemed to show that it was on the Daybell property at those 4 times. Now, the first data point that we got at 921 is actually behind the main residence at the Daybell property, back on the rear of the property. And that is a GPS coordinate with a 6-meter radius. And then at 922, we get another one that's actually on the northwest corner of the Daybell residence, near a gate there. And that is also a GPS data point with a 3-meter radius. And then we have a gap in time where we don't have any precise information, but until 1039, when there's another data point, also a GPS data point that's behind the residence, and this has a 43-meter radius. And then at 1057, there's another also behind the residence with a 5-meter radius, also GPS. As best I could determine, it seems like the device is leaving that area of the residence at approximately 1145